Cowboys send a 5 and a 7 to the Bills for a draft bust named Kaiir Elam and a 6. Okay, so they are getting a little something back. So it's not the end of the world. But I do think it kind of sucks that he's going to count $2.5 million against the cap. Hopefully that's not guaranteed. But that's relevant as we jump into this NFL Draft Big Board Report. CBS Sports has their post-free agency mock draft. They're giving you Jourdan Lewis, the pick, cornerback, UT. The lack of speed is there. And I want to hear your guys' thoughts on this because I looked it up. Like, how slow can you be and still be a great corner? They gave me Josh Norman with a 4.66, Rondé Barber 4.68. Then you got your Richard Sherman at a 4.6, and Joe Hayden was 4.57. That's like 4 guys.
This dude's actually, I mean, he was like a 4.4 guy at the combine, wasn't he?
I think.
But like the size factor,
he's size guy.
Yeah,
he's the
size
length,
guy. Yeah.
and it's really the length because he's like 5'11", basically 200 pounds.
Right.
I think it's mostly the arm length.
29, on the arms.
Who was the guy you were worried about his speed?
Will Johnson.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll likely never run. They have drafted a corner here that they never got a time on before. That's Diggs. They never got a 40-yard dash time on Diggs coming out of Alabama.
But they waited till the second round.
Second round pick at the 60th.
But he was in play at 17. Like, if Lamb hadn't have been there, there's some say Diggs was going to be the pick there.
Yeah, Barron doesn't fit their threshold for the length and the size that way. So it's probably that they won't draft.
Like, we love Barron, but I just for Tolo's just I don't believe he's. They would
probably like Will Johnson. From Michigan at 6'2" and 2.
Well, that's who NBC Sports goes with. Will Johnson.
Yeah,
big guy, ball skills, but is not going to run.
I'll tell you what.
I don't think. He Michigan's pro day was coming up. He suffered a hamstring injury. Didn't run at the combine. The question about him was really how fast is he? And then he says, "Oh, I'll run on April 14th." He'll probably get to April 14th, and he'll be like, "Well, I don't feel well enough to run." And then here you go. Then you'll never get a time on him. I would have a hard time drafting him, but the Cowboys have done this. They've done it before. So, don't be surprised if Will Johnson is the pick.
He's also got some safety flex. I've heard from some teams they view him like even maybe if it's late in the career, like what Charles Woodson did, where they move him over to safety. But
Will
if
Johnson?
With Will Johnson. If things don't work out, he could end up being like a Byron Jones. They could end up shuffling him corner safety a little bit.
What does the trade do? Nothing, right?
No.
To your cornerback approach in the draft?
No. Still need corner.
Still need multiple corners, probably. USA Today is giving you Shamar Stewart edge from the Aggies. If he's the best player there, you got to take him, right? You need edge long term?
Yeah, but that would be a tough one on me. I to be honest with you, even though the kid didn't run very well today at Georgia, there's some talk about Mykel Williams being a pick here for the Cowboys. I would take Williams over Stewart if it was me. I think
really?
Yeah, I would.
Yeah,
and I'm not going to let.
Is the tape that much better?
That it's not. It's the thing about it is, to me, like he does not play like how he works out.
Shamar Stewart?
No, the tape. I didn't see that either.
And not that Mykel Williams is any great. I mean, would Mykel Williams run a 4.87?
Yeah, one team had him as a 4.68.
That's a team like
that's
me.
That's a team that likes
got
him.
Got him at 38. Got him at 38.
But size. I mean, here's the thing with Williams. I think that he's very comparable, and I know it's the same team. I talked about this on the draft show yesterday with Trayvon Walker, who the Jags took number 1 overall. Yeah. Now he's been a bust for being the first overall pick, but Mykel Williams is a really good run defender. Can do a lot of the things that you've lost with DeMarcus Lawrence, and I think you're just hoping with the talent and the skill set he can develop the pass rush. To me, like Shamar Stewart is more of he's either going to completely stink or you could get a 15-sack guy. I mean, he's got that type of talent.
Tank hasn't gone anywhere yet, has he?
No.
Wouldn't be surprised. Maybe hear about him coming back.
I think that's why they got Turner, to be honest with you. I think Turner's going to be that. I'll talk about Turner at 3:40 today back at the scouting report, but I think that's a much better run defender than a pass rusher.
How you guys looking at defensive tackle now that you have Thomas and Osa back in the mix?
This draft's just too good not to take at least one defensive tackle.
I still need a one technique. And, Grant, Williams from Ohio State, Harmon. What's starting to really bother me is that every name that they're talking about now at 12, I am just not a fan of. Whether it's Mykel Williams, whether it's Will Johnson, I just am not a fan of where this thing is going right now.
What would you do with the players that will most likely be there?
You know what? Me personally, like I say, we mentioned they wouldn't take Barron because of the length. Barron would be the best fit if you were looking for a corner. But I mean, I would take Green from
I'd
Marshall
take Mike Green over any of those
before
dudes.
Mykel Williams. I mean, a legitimate pass rusher. I would even, I would think about. To me, Green makes a lot of sense. I don't know if they would do that, but because to me, with Green, you're talking about a guy that can affect the game as a pass rusher. Mykel Williams, sure, good-looking guy, but he's a better run player than he is a pass rusher. And so are we drafting run defenders at 12 overall?
No, sir.
I mean, that's what I'm, and I don't like the fact that they're talking about Will Johnson, and I don't know a speed on him. This is starting to really kind of upset me in that way of the names that are being floated around here.
Well, you are seeing a lot of drafts where Genty is off the board already. That trend continues.
And that's because every player now that we're looking at 12 is one of these guys like, well, he can do this.
Warts.
Yeah,
there's something that you're probably like not. I like this, but I don't love this.
We did this on the draft show yesterday, and you start to talk about. Give me the healthiest player, give me the best character player, and give me the best player, skill-wise.
That's Johnny Barron.
At
12, it should be, dude. Like they're overstating the arm length thing.
Yeah, well, that's what they.
That's less of a wart than they're making it out to be.
Genty's that way though too. Genty, if you look at all three,
just checks all the boxes.
He checks all the boxes.
Oh yeah, there's not a single.
See, that's what I'm saying. If that, and now people are talking about him going before 12. And that's because everybody else that we're talking about after he gets picked, there's issues with. There are big issues with Williams. There are big issues with Johnson. It's kind of disheartening right now that it's turning into this.
They just had to try to win those games right up to week 18. Then all of a sudden it was perfectly fine to not try to win the game.
You got to hope. You got to
costly.
You got to hope that, and I don't know if they'd look at Simmons. The tackle.
I don't think they're taking an offensive lineman.
Yeah, and if you're going to take, there's like McMillan. I would even consider taking Burton over Mykel Williams and Will Johnson.
See, I was going to ask about wide receiver. Why not?
Yeah, I would. I would take
Buka.
Abuka. Okay, if you told me that you can get and McMillan's gone, I would take fine. Give me Abuka. Give me Burton. Give me Golden at 12. I'll take all those guys over Mykel Williams and Will Johnson right now.